Hi everyone. I don't have slides, but I have and some notes. To give a little bit of context about Nazareth, it was a very, very tiny farming village on the top of a hill, populated with around 120 to 150 people. So everyone knew each other. Barnet is quite small. You know somebody who's from Barnet. So you basically know everybody from Barnet. So it's kind of like that. Uh, I'm going to start by asking, what does everybody know about Joseph?
He was chosen by God to be Jesus's dad, even though he wasn't the biological dad.
He was a very God fearing man and a faithful husband. A real man to emulate is Joseph, a wonderful man.
I think Joseph was really favored. For me, I considered a great favor because we are still talking about Joseph.
Call him a carpenter. Okay. Also, probably more important, from the lineage of David.
So, the point about him being highly favored and important to the story is interesting because in the Bible, I couldn't find any quotes, any direct quotes of him. So, the man who was chosen to father the Son of God and was chosen to give him the name of Jesus, he was told in the dream to give the Son of God the name Jesus, but I couldn't find any direct quotes from him. And to be fair, the only thing I could really find in regards to the nativity story was that, he was the man who was betrothed to Mary and chosen to father the Son of God. I feel like there was so much more to him than just the idea of him being the husband of Mary, the woman who bore the child. So I tried to I think today I'm mostly just going to speak on his character because we can find the character that he was, the man that he was, through who Jesus was. So, um, so we all know that Joseph was a carpenter, right? And I don't think it was. It's not a small job to undertake. It's very physically. It's a physically arduous job. It requires logical and creative thinking because you're working with the materials of the earth. You have to know the limits, the grain, what you can do with it, how far you can take it, how to repair it, how to work with it. And it's also a job that requires service. You serve the community. It was 120 to 150 people. You knew everyone. And you go around, you've built stuff that you know people are going to live with, in their houses they're going to use every day. So it is also a job that requires service. And I don't think it's a small thing to note that Jesus also became a carpenter. And he just, yeah. Also, I think that, you know, when we refer to the father of Jesus, I think we should also be keeping in mind Joseph. Because, I mean, I think it is quite glossed over that, when he found Mary was pregnant, he was thinking of quietly divorcing her. And he was well within his right to, it was in the law that he could have, but he chose to be obedient. And I think it was more than obedient. He was a righteous man because it wasn't just him staying in the picture. He raised Jesus as his son. He was the one who taught him character and the value of hard work. Because because he played a crucial role. And it was more than just obedience, because we all know people, we all know parents who have gifted children, and it's like they worship the ground that their children walk on. And to know that he was the one that he was tasked with raising like the Son of God, who he was told would save like people from their sins, he still remained like a strong figurehead, and he put Jesus to work, really. Yeah. So like I don't think that just because Joseph has no like quotes in the Bible or refer to him as the stepfather and blah blah blah, but I think there's so much we could learn from Joseph just through the man that he was and what we can see reflected in Jesus and how he was his father and how he fathered him. Kind of what I wanted to say.
Another round of applause for Yocheved. Oh, you wanted to?
Yocheved, it's just opened my eyes to not just seeing Joseph as a good father, but a wonderful husband as well. His family, he didn't let them suffer at all. There was no, otherwise it would have been mentioned. He kept his home together, looked after his family, trained the son of God, taught him the right way. And he, even though it wasn't mentioned, a lot of things weren't mentioned about him. From what Shiva shared this morning, it's opened my mind, opened my eyes a lot to see that this man was a good man, a man to emulate. And as Sister Yetunde has said, he was a God-fearing man.
Amen.
So he was a hidden figure, was he?
But it's just so insightful because I've been able to look at these characters from a different perspective, and things that you wouldn't normally have thought about before. And just reflecting on Joseph, I think it's a big thing because he raised Jesus. Can you imagine knowing that this guy is going to change the landscape of the whole human race? As Yocheved said, some parent would have just washed his feet and allow him to sleep late in bed and all of that. But he had to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock to work hard, and nothing builds character than hard work. So that even when Jesus was being worshipped and all of that, what did he do? He gave it back to the Father. He could have only done that because of the character that his Father had actually, the work that he had actually done in us. And just looking on the context of today, where a lot of people, young people, older people and all of that all they want is just to be worshipped, And also as a parent, again, you're reflecting, am I doing, what it is that God has entrusted me to do, to be able to build character in my children or my spiritual children so that they can be who God has actually ordained for them to be.